Natalie Jurkanis. I'll be 77 in January, and I was born in Tyvola, Michigan. I am of Finnish descent. My grandfather Perla came from Finland, and my grandfather Maki came from Finland. Four sisters and one brother. I'm very close to my sister nearest me, but we fought like cats and dogs when we were young. Okay, now, and I have a sister, one of them is living in Alabama, and we speak to each other every day. My sister Faye died when she was 50 of breast cancer. And my sister Glenda is now 61 and has breast cancer. When the ditches were full of water, we got these long poles and we pole vault across those ditches. And one day I fell in, had a dress on and everything. I had to go to my grandma's across the road to have it dried. When we played house, I always had this friend that was with me, and her name was Ina. And that was all through my childhood. So, I like to climb trees, walked in the woods, pick flowers, pick berries. One time we climbed a real high tree in the neighbor's yard, and my mom came out and I yelled, "Hey Mom!" She was so mad at me. She said, "You better get down from there and fast." Oh, my mom and dad came from shopping and they started putting the gifts up in the attic. And my dad turned the box around and the dolly cried. So we knew what we were getting. I like all my subjects, especially math, spelling. I still like word games. And I hated algebra. I did not like that one. There was 5 girls that started kindergarten from Tyvola, and we went right through to high school together. And when everyone comes into town, we get together once a year at least for a lunch. But best memory. We only had 29 or 30 students who graduated, so we got to know them all personally. And to this day, when we see each other, we really are happy. No, I wouldn't, because I don't want to study anymore. In fact, if I dream about school, that's an idea. And then I met my husband, Richard, and he was in the Coast Guard. So we got transferred to different places. We lived in Hancock first, and he was stationed at many different islands and stations right here in Hancock. Then from there we were transferred to Hawaii for 2 years. And then from there we went to Duluth, Minnesota, which was his home. Then to Muskegon, Michigan. And then our last move was to Laminga. And that's where we stayed until he passed away. I have 2 sons, 1 grandson, and 4 granddaughters. I was hired as a teacher's aide, and the reason I went to apply for the job was my husband was reading the paper and he said, "Hey, I've got a job for you." So I asked him what it was, and he says, "They're looking for a teacher's aide. How do you be home in school?" So I went there the next day and I got the job. When you try to teach them a concept, you have to try many different ways. And then finally, the light bulb comes on and they've learned it. And that is just so rewarding. My first job was as a nurse's aide at St. Joseph's Hospital in those days. Then I worked at the Red Owl in the meat department. I would enjoy
What is the Red Owl?
Either cashiering, and you get to talk to a lot of people, and people like to have people talk to them when they're spending a lot of money. You're not just a number. At least someone cares about how your day was or something. And I was a dental assistant, but in that job I couldn't talk to people because their mouths were always full of something. And they'd come over and play with all the dollies we bought for them, and they named all of them, and they'd play restaurant all the time. They'd come and ask Grandpa and Grandma what they wanted to eat. So we bought money for them, play money so we could pay them. And then they'd climb into this pine tree, and I would just be petrified they'd get their eyes poked out or something. But they had a ball. Being poor, you learn to be very strong when you have to figure out how to get things. It made me a stronger person and a caring person and patient with people. You have time to think about life and not just be watching TV or texting someone. You actually have time to think about your life, and that makes you a better person. Well, I wish they would take their school very seriously. And I know this can't be, but I wish they weren't so into electronics, but that it's an electronic world now. But I wish they would communicate by speaking or writing letters and writing thank yous for things that they get. Be thankful for what you receive and not just blow it off. Because people do like to get a thank you for what they've given you or done for you. You don't have to be rich to make it in the world. just doing what you have to do, and be happy and enjoy each day to the fullest.